I see a lot of times on the internet, people will say things like, the cops won't enforce that, or you'll see someone in a comment section on Facebook saying, as a police officer, I would never enforce a law like that, or there's no way that my department would enforce a law like that. And now those are nice words to hear, and I'm sure many people do believe that, and maybe the people saying it themselves also believe it. However, we have seen time and time again, and there's many examples to show that that is not the case. Cops will and cops are enforcing these laws. Whether or not you think that they're unconstitutional and whether or not that they themselves think they're unconstitutional are totally beside the point. The fact is that police do enforce these laws. They are to this day making arrests based on what many would consider and what you and I might consider unconstitutional laws. You see it on Reddit or Calguns especially, people saying things like, oh, I'm not going to convert my gun to featureless or fixed mag, I'm just not going to get caught with it. Or don't ask, don't tell. Or, it doesn't matter if you're at the range because no one cares at the range. That's fine. You can feel free to believe that. I don't think that that's a smart life decision if you have anything that matters to you personally. If you have a family or friends that care about you, if you have a job that requires you to not be a felon, I would highly recommend that you understand the risks that you're taking, because you might think, oh, the cops won't enforce that, I'm a good person. But at the end of the day, they're going to do their job. They want to not get fired. And if they don't make arrests based on you breaking the law, they can get fired and they can lose their job. So it's one of those things where I think people just are very idealistic when it comes to what the cops will enforce and what they won't. Just this last year, maybe a couple months ago, Stockton PD blew up on the internet. They got a Facebook post with over 30,000 comments on it, I believe. The Facebook post that I'm talking about was referencing an arrest made by an officer for someone in California with what's considered an assault weapon. Yeah, you heard me. They made an arrest based solely on that person having an assault weapon. The guy had a tan AR-15 with some hex mags and a nice range bag. This guy was clearly just a dude trying to go to the range, fire a couple rounds. None of the mags were loaded, as far as I remember, just a couple boxes of ammo in there. The typical range plinker, but he didn't have a bullet button that he had on his gun prior to 2017 and registered as an assault weapon. He didn't have it converted to featureless, and he didn't have it converted to fixed magazine, making that gun an unregistered assault weapon in the state of California. Now, to those of you that don't know, that can come along with felony charges, as well as basically ruining the whole rest of your life. Ridiculous, right? Just a normal person, law-abiding gun owner. Let's say maybe you owned a gun a couple years ago and you then didn't keep up to date with the laws. Maybe you lived out of state for a couple years, came back, didn't realize that anything changed. It's up to you to make sure that you didn't become an overnight felon because one day you forgot to keep up to date with what Jerry Brown signed and what he didn't sign at the time. It's kind of ridiculous. I think people really need to realize that the cops, while they are good people, and I do respect the job and the things that they have to do for make a living and to, provide the services that they do, the cops are going to do their job. And their job is to make arrests and prosecute, and their job is to make arrests on people that break these laws. And whether or not you agree with whether they're unconstitutional or not, they're going to follow those laws. Now, I know many people that are cops, that are gun owners, that they say, oh, I would never arrest someone like that unless they were doing something else that was shitty. So let's say you got a dude that's just beating his wife and he happens to have an unregistered assault weapon. Fucking lock him up. Get him out of here. But all of my cop friends are gun guys. Not all cops are gun people. And I would be willing to say that most cops are not gun people. You don't become a cop because you like guns. You become a cop for a lot of reasons. Maybe you're one of the few people that did become a cop because you liked guns, but maybe that's not a good reason to be a cop. But that's beside the point. Most cops will enforce this law. I did a poll on my Facebook community tab just earlier today, just to get an idea of what people thought, and it seemed like the general consensus at the time was that cops will enforce these laws. And it's one of those things, time and time again, you can say it over and over and over and over that cops won't enforce them, and you can be a cop and say, I won't enforce those laws. But I can show you countless stories of people getting arrested for unconstitutional firearms laws in the state of California and nationwide, proving that you're wrong and that the cops will and that the cops are enforcing these laws. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't think cops are bad people. I think cops are normal people just like the rest of us. Being a normal person comes with some things like wanting to go home and be able to go to work the next day, not being in jail, not being fired, not losing the entirety of your life because you don't agree with a law. And at the end of the day, they're going to do their job, and that's fine. I respect them for that. That's their own personal decision. But I want this video to serve to people as a way to realize that if you choose the non-compliance route when it comes to state or federal laws, you have to understand that there are risks that come with that. And I think intentionally telling yourself, or maybe listening to people say, oh, the cops won't enforce that, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I think you need to understand the risks that come with civil disobedience. You know, if you're not following the law, you got to understand that there are a very good chance that eventually you might get caught or someone else might get caught. So I'm going to end this video right here, just kind of cut this off. And like always, I'm going to tell you, same thing I say at the end of every one of my videos. The only way for us to continue advancing the Second Amendment and making sure that this is a right that we are able to exercise in the future is if we create more gun owners. How do you create more gun owners, you might ask yourself? Well, maybe take someone else to the range. Expose someone to firearms in a healthy way. Engage in good civil conversation with friends that may be on the other side or maybe wavering on the fence. We need to provide a good face for gun owners, and I hope that that's something that I'm helping with and it may be helping you do. I hope to encourage you to get out there, make a new gun owner this weekend, maybe take someone to the range for the first time, or maybe take someone that's kind of interested in guns, shot them a couple times, but maybe help them take that next step to becoming a gun owner. If you're in California and don't know how to buy a gun, I got a video that I'll link up here. It's on my main page. Showing you how to buy a gun in California because things change every once in a while, and in 2019 some things are different, so feel free to check that out. Again, thank you for watching these videos. A like and comment is always appreciated. If you have differing opinions as far as what you think cops will or won't do in this state or federally, let me know in the comment section below. Hope you have a great day. Take it easy.